What is up, everyone? And thank you for tuning in to Don't Say the F Word, a pro wrestling and combat sports podcast where we do not use the F word when we talk about professional wrestling. You shouldn't let your friends use it either. Today is Tuesday. It is December 13th, and we are coming off of what was, all in all, a pretty good episode of Raw. We had a few things take place that I thought were pretty good. There are a few things that didn't make a whole heck of a lot of sense to me. So we're just going to grab my handy dandy notebook and take a look at some of the things that I got. So Raw kicked off, and it started off with Alexa Bliss versus Bayley. It's actually a match that I missed, but I did see some of the big takeaway from it was Bliss won. She has a shot at Bianca Belair now, and she had Bianca come in, wanted to give her a hug. We had a glitch on the screen, like the Bray Wyatt, Uncle Howdy situation, and Bliss set her up to do the Sister Abigail, snapped out of it, and didn't do it. I don't like this. I don't think it's a point in time where we should really be messing with the Bray Wyatt character. I don't think we need to add someone else to the mix. I mean, we're just at the surface of the Bray Wyatt LA Knight feud on SmackDown, having something taking place on Raw, regardless of history there. I don't really fully get why we're doing that. I think that the entire Alexa Bliss Bray Wyatt situation left a lot of people really unhappy. I don't think it was good television at all. I think the ending at Mania, I think, was just flat out bad. I don't think anyone really liked that. I don't know anyone who says they were a fan of it, nor do I know how they're going to do something and make that entertaining television. It could be great for somebody. Me personally, I don't. I think the Bray Wyatt character, as it stands right now, has enough complexities. There's enough layers there to peel back and show a lot of depth to the character and the lure of whatever the character may be. If Uncle Howdy winds up being Bo Dallas, that's fantastic. Whomever it may be, however they go, if Uncle Howdy's just a hallucination that Bray Wyatt is having that we're all somehow privy to, that's also a good angle for this story. I don't think sprinkling in other wrestlers at this point, regardless of who they are, makes sense whenever we don't even have a real program established yet with Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt and LA Knight is just at the beginning. It's just like it's like that big of a story right now. And we're gonna start adding elements from Raw to that story. To me, that just doesn't make any sense. I don't know why you get there so soon with a reintroduction of a new Bray Wyatt character. I don't know what the point of that is. Second match of the night, which a weird thing about the second match of the night, it's AJ Styles, Chad Gable, and they didn't put that in the Hulu replay of Raw. So everyone who watches Raw live, you may not know, if don't subscribe to Hulu, you may not know this. I've mentioned it before whenever they were in their contract issues with Hulu and WWE for the replay TV rights of Raw. So Raw is a 3-hour show live. Everyone knows can be a bit of a grind to get through. The Hulu replay is available on Tuesday. It's not even full 24 hours. Like you could watch this morning. You could have watched now Tuesday morning. You could have watched Raw probably around like 9 o'clock in the morning, something like that. You could have watched last night's Raw in an edited format. They cut some things out. So clearly everything won't be there because you're taking a 3-hour show. It's about an hour and a half on Hulu. If you paid for Hulu to not have ads, I think it's like an hour and 21 minutes, something like that. It's very edited down, compact size. A couple years ago, it was really the only way to watch Raw was the Hulu replay because you didn't have to sit through everything that was god awful. You could just pick through and get right to the good bits of the show. I don't know what about AJ Styles versus Chad Gable makes that a match to take out of the show. Like, it's AJ Styles and it's Chad Gable. You can give me that match for 45 minutes. It was a very technical back and forth match. AJ Styles was the victor of that match. I think Chad Gable's such a stupendous wrestler. He's really, really good between the ropes. And the entire Alpha Academy thing with him and Otis is so good. The Shoosh thing is good. Last Friday on SmackDown, their interaction with Kurt Angle was really, we're talking top shelf, just great comedy and wrestling with guys who are great in the ring. They're not just comedy wrestlers. They're very technically sound. Chad Gable and Otis as well. Otis is a very good wrestler. Like his output in the ring is really good. He's a good, thick, big guy. Like I want to see him get booked a little more monster-ish for my liking. I'd like to see Otis be a new age Big Van Vader in a sense. For me personally, not even just in a sense. You could give him Vader's old mask, and I'd pop. It'd be a great nostalgia pop for me. But I'm a wrestling nerd, so it's a different thing for me. I understand that wouldn't be it for everybody, but I just think the work is really good. We then got ourselves a match between the Judgment Day and the Street Profits with the addition of Akira Tozawa to the Street Profits. This match really showcased Tozawa a lot. He got a lot of good things in. The Street Profits are always fantastic. You know, they always put together a good match. Montez Ford seems to have so much fun in the ring that it's very captivating as a fan to watch Montez Ford perform. He's very, very good. Anything he hits off the top turnbuckle, it's amazing the height that the guy gets. I mean, it's absolutely fantastic. I've not seen Montez Ford live. I've not been to a WWE event where Montez was in action that I can recall. I don't think I have. But he's one who I think would probably be much like seeing the Lucha Bros live, where you see hit these moves off the ropes and they get so high. And I've seen Dante Martin live in AEW, and it's kind of the same with him, where you see him hit these spots. It's like, how the hell did he do it? I don't understand how some of these guys get to the level at which they get to and get these heights and land safely, and it's fantastic to see as a fan. I really, really enjoy Montez Ford in the ring, and I hope one day I'll get to a WWE live event that Montez is on the card to be able to see him perform live, because the guy's fantastic. The Judgment Day did pick up the win. The match was just really good. I mean, to me, it was a very A-level trios or six-man matchup. Dom did get the victory for the Judgment Day. They are leaning more heavily into the idea that Dom and Rhea are romantically involved. I don't like that. The Judgment Day, concept of the faction is really spotty for making sense. It really is. With Edge, it didn't make a heck of a lot of sense. With Finn as the leader, presumably Finn's the leader. They don't really tell us Finn's the leader. I don't think it makes a whole lot of sense why they're together and calling themselves the Judgment Day, because they're not really passing judgment any longer, like Edge was doing that. But now to have a romantic situation between Dominic and Rhea Ripley, it just doesn't make sense. It's really, it doesn't make sense for the faction as a whole. It made sense whenever they were spinning the idea they were preying on people who were in a weak state mentally, and it could have been a brainwashing situation of some sort. But whatever it is, I don't think they understand what the faction's supposed to be. I think whoever originally had the idea isn't there now. And they're just kind of throwing stuff. Like, maybe this will work. Maybe this is the thing. Just have them be the Undertaker fan club. Old school Purple Gear Taker fan club. And you could even call them that. I'd be happy with it. Probably wouldn't work for everyone. But, I mean, they're all great in the ring. I just don't understand the faction. I like the shirts. The shirts are cool, though. But the faction as a whole, I can't figure out the elements that make sense. If you would have had Ripley brainwashing everyone, that makes sense. She could have been like a voodoo witch of some sort, and that would have worked. Then now I don't have a reason to understand how Finn's in charge and there's a relationship between Dom and Rhea Ripley. Where's Damian Priest really fall in? Um, Another thing, and just in the match itself, was Damian Priest just kept flexing and screaming. Doesn't really make sense for a guy who's supposed to be the tall, spooky dude. I don't, I don't really understand the, um, front double biflex on anyone. We did get to see Montez Ford's DX crotch chop, so that was really, really good. That was funny. I wish there would have been him throwing up a too sweet in there somewhere at Finn to taunt him, but it was good. I laughed. Tozawa did hit a suicide dive in there. That was phenomenal. He flew great distance, a nice safe landing. Thing looked great. I mean, they really showcased Tozawa in there, so I really hope they continue to do some stuff with him. He hit a few little comedy bits, but everything in ring was just very, very good. Another good moments from the show. We had a backstage interview with Kevin Owens, and he was interrupted by Elias. And KO's comedic timing is so damn good. Everything between him and Elias was absolutely hilarious. The back and forth between them, Elias needing KO's help, KO referencing back to everything that Elias and Ezekiel put him through earlier in the year. In WWE, they don't always, and for years they really haven't done callbacks to things earlier in the year. It's usually just a show being booked week to week to week, and the earliest reference back on a Monday you'd hear would be something from the previous Monday. If you're lucky, 2 Mondays prior. For KO to call back to the Ezekiel feud and the Elias feud was fantastic, and his just disbelief that Elias was asking for his help was so damn funny. Literally laughing watching it because KO's timing is perfect. Just absolutely, he walked away, he came back, few more lines, walked away again, popped back in to exit, and then you have Elias out in the ring, and it's WWE stands for Walk with Elias. I really hope that just happened organically through the process of things because it's been years that it's been utilized, and it's still fantastic. The crowd still eats it up. Elias is still profoundly over. I don't know why there was ever a thought to ever change the idea and have him be an Ezekiel was ever fathomed because I think Elias has continuously been over out the gate to a degree. Like he's not. Is he going to be the guy dethrone Roman? Clearly no. But Elias is over. It's just a good spot of the show. Him singing, playing the guitar. You always have the guitar smash spot available to utilize. Elias is great. He did reference, he did sing a song to tribute to Matt Riddle. There's tons of reports out there what's going on with Riddle. Currently suspended. Storyline is injury out for 6 weeks. Not going to report on the speculations and the rumors that are going around. That's not my place, nor is it the place of anybody else with a podcast or wrestling, social media channel or YouTube channel or anything like that. All I'm going to say is I think Matt Riddle is a fantastic wrestler. I think the guy is great in the ring. He's hilarious on the mic. And all of us here, myself, Mark, everybody else who's part of the Don't Say the F Word community, we just hope Matt Riddle's healthy and he's happy. That's what's important. That's important for me. It's important for anyone listening. I hope you guys are all just healthy and happy. I hope everyone's in a good place mentally. And if you're needing help, I hope you're getting it. And I hope to see Riddle back when he's healthy enough to be back. And that's it. No speculation of anything. No further comments until it's time for me to say it was great to see Riddle back on Raw. Just wishing him the best. Elias faced Solo Sikoa. He hit the point in the song where he says time for a solo, and then Solo's music hits. It was easy and it was right there for them to do that bit, and it was great. It was fantastic. It was absolutely hilarious. I think they put on a great match together. They're doing a lot with the telling the background story of what's going on with Solo. Not amused by Sami Zayn's antics anymore. Very standoffish, very, very serious, and wins the match and then continues to attack Elias. And it seems to be that's the MO right now of Solo is he's taking people out. And everything's very, very serious, which he was always going to be the enforcer, was always serious, but it's leveled up a little bit. So we were here with the seriousness, but he was having fun with Sami, and now everybody's having fun with Sami. So Solo's seriousness has come up a level. I think there's some foreshadowing there of what's going on with Solo. I still think there's some more story to be told there that's not being put right out there in front of our faces right now. So I think that's something to stay tuned to and keep paying attention in the background of things, because I do think we have some more stuff to happen with Solo Sikoa in the future. I do think that Solo is going to be a guy who really breaks out ahead of the pack in a lot of ways, which I think will be fantastic. Dropped that there. But I think that everything they're doing with Solo right now, I think is really, really good. I think the guy's incredible in the ring. I think that I like that he pays homage to Umaga and he's using the Samoan spike. I think that's really good. I think that the contrast of him and Sami dancing around, very energetic, almost as if he's Solo's hype man, and Solo just being stone serious. Like, I think that's all very, very good storytelling right there with Solo. I think that we're going to see some good stuff. We then had, I think that's probably an opportunity for us to switch over to Mark the Monster Clementine here. I think we have a Mark's Minute. Mark, are you interested in doing a Mark's Minute, bud? You available? Am I available? Yeah. First of all, bud, your scarf is your scarf. My socks. It's my scarf. Okay, your scarf is falling off of you here. Let me. There you go. You're good. Okay, your scarf is fine. I didn't get anything on it. All right. What do you want to talk about? Okay. Well, the big guy over here, he mentioned that there's a lot of good story going on with Solo, and that we see a lot more to come from Solo. But I just want to talk about where I think Solo's allegiance is. I said this before. I think Solo is not on Roman's side. Solo's from a different branch of the family tree, and I think Solo's allegiance lies solely with The Rock. I think that Solo is going to be the guy to aid The Rock in winning the Royal Rumble, because I do believe that Rock comes back at Rumble. I think that The Rock will probably enter number 29 or potentially number 30. I think that maybe they will have the men's Rumble. I think men's Rumble will just be for the Universal title. Rock has never been Universal Champion, so I think it just makes sense for him to do that. I don't know if anyone watches Young Rock, but they showed the Universal title in his trophy case. So Rock has yet to win that title. Now that's in the future. That show's in the future. It's not right now. So Rock has to win the Universal title at some point to have it in that show. Otherwise, the TV show doesn't make sense. So Rock has to be Universal Champion. Means Rock is going to have to win the Rumble to get it. So yeah, definitely, I think Rock is coming back to WWE at the Rumble. And I think Solo Sikoa is going to help him win the Rumble, or at least help him beat Roman Reigns. Okay, just gonna Mark. Hey, stop pushing me out of frame, Mark. I just need you to back. Okay, so again, now that's Mark's opinion that Solo is going to turn on Roman. Not my opinion. So I don't really want to have any beef with anyone from the bloodline. We covered that in our legal notice last time Mark said those kinds of things. So just please, if you're Samoan and you're not happy that Mark has that opinion, please don't come beat me up. I'm old. I don't really need to get beat up by anybody. But I do kind of agree that Rock's probably going to come back at the Rumble. I kind of was against it. I didn't really understand why he would. I think there's a lot of money for him to make in Hollywood, but I bet they're probably going to back up the Brinks truck to have Rock and Roman happen at Mania. And I think it probably does make sense for Rock to just take one belt off of it. Maybe they retire it after that because I don't think you're going to get the Rock back for a full calendar year. I just don't think that'll happen. So maybe he wins it and they retire that belt and it's the Rock's thing and just let there be one world champion in WWE. I would kind of prefer that anyway. Get it on to somebody else like a Cody Rhodes or a Seth Rollins who's going to be full time and hit both TV shows. We then had Asuka versus Rhea Ripley on Raw. All right. Takeaway from that is Asuka hit Dom with the poison mist, and Dom was freaking out about it. Damian Priest said, "At least it's not something else that burns." So, I mean, there's some advice, but not for me. Main event of the night: Seth Rollins versus Bobby Lashley. Seth Rollins and Bobby Lashley they work great in the ring together. Like those two guys can tell a damn story between the ropes. Prior to Between the Ropes, though, some things don't really make sense to me. I don't know who the heel is. I'm confused who the heel is in the Seth Rollins Bobby Lashley storyline. But someone has to be, unless it's Austin Theory, unless Bob Lashley and Seth Rollins are both the babyface and Theory's just the heel. Bobby Lashley came out and was slapping the fans' hands. That doesn't make sense for anything he's been doing lately. He's been attacking people without being provoked. He's been unable to be controlled by officials. More on that in a second. He's been completely unhinged, and he's interacting with the fans in a positive way. How the hell is he the heel? That's not what a heel does. Heels don't do that. I've seen a lot of reports post-Raw that Bobby Lashley is going to be kind of turned into the new Brock. That Bobby Lashley is going to be booked as final boss level and he's going to be this monster, just like how Brock Lesnar's been booked for the past 15 years. Well, Brock was never out there smacking hands with people. Not till recently, until he just kind of stopped playing a gimmick and he's just Farm Boy Brock. Bobby Lashley's coming out to the ring doing things that are contrary to the behavior he has at any other point in time. Now we have a ref spot where the ref ends up out of the ring in this match. Not a ref bump, but a ref spot. The ref's down to the ring, distracted. Bobby Lashley could have had the victory. The ref wasn't in position in time. I don't think they paused long enough for that to really make sense, to be honest. But there was a situation where the ref was not in position appropriately to count the 3, which led to Bobby Lashley setting up for another spear, gets pedigreed, Seth gets the victory, Bobby Lashley loses it. Starts attacking Seth, ends up hitting an official, doesn't listen to Adam Pearce. Adam Pearce fires Bobby Lashley on screen. I don't know what you do with that next. So you have Adam Pearce fire Bobby Lashley on TV. I can't think of a situation where Adam Pearce has fired someone on TV. I'm glad he didn't imitate Vince to do the "you're fired" thing. I'm very happy that wasn't the case. But now what? Bobby Lashley is not a character who routinely defies authority. Throughout his career, they've played heavy into his honor and his respect for things and military family, all these things. So does Bobby Lashley show up after being fired on Raw next week? Does he petition to be reinstated somehow? I think you could maybe do that, bringing back MVP. Maybe MVP hires some legal counsel and they go that route where he's fighting for Bobby Lashley to get his job back. We rebuild the Hurt business. I'm on board for that. Do we look to bring eyes to NXT with Bobby Lashley? because I think you could have Bobby Lashley show up tonight, Tuesday night on NXT, have him attack Braun Breaker, have a Braun Breaker Bobby Lashley feud, have Bobby Lashley be the guy who defeats Braun Breaker and sends Braun Breaker up to main roster WWE. Bob Lashley spends some time in NXT and then eventually works his way back on to main roster. That would be kind of cool. I don't know if they will do that, but I think it would be cool. So Seth Rollins wins the number one contendership for the U.S. title. So we can assume it's going to be Seth Rollins against Austin Theory again. At this point, you can't put Seth Rollins over Austin Theory. Austin Theory needs to keep that U.S. title. I think Austin Theory is one of the wrestlers who had the best year in WWE for sure. He's been in prominent position all year. His performance from Elimination Chamber through now, he's done really good things. That bump he took from Brock at Elimination Chamber played into his character well. All the spots he hit in that really showcased him well. He had a huge spotlight on him with Vince at Mania. It's kind of been a good year for Austin Theory. They've really built something with this kid. Sorry, didn't mean to call him a kid. And, just a month ago, people thought he was being buried, and now look at where he's at. I think they've just done really good, and I think he himself has put in a lot of work to do very, very well. So I don't think Seth can't go over. So I don't know where that leaves Bobby Lashley. I just don't know where it puts him. I kind of think send him to NXT for a minute, not because he needs to be there, but because I think NXT needs him. And Braun Breaker needs someone to beat him at a level that doesn't hurt him to send him up the main roster to see what he can do there. I don't think the Dolph Ziggler promo, I forgot about that. Dolph had a promo he cut on Austin Theory. I don't even think you need to build that feud, to be honest. I think Austin Theory can stand out on his own without the, I hate to say stepping stone that is Dolph Ziggler, but that's the reality. I mean, he can't really rock that. It should have been me nonsense with Austin Theory. Him talking about Austin Theory being cocky doesn't make any sense at all because that's the entire character. Dolph Ziggler's been called the show off for like 10 years. So none of that makes any sense. But that was it for Raw. I thought Raw was really a pretty fantastic show. We got a few things just from around, wrestling rumor mill. Looks like Brock Lesnar does probably have an opponent for WrestleMania, and it's probably going to be Gunther. It's something that, I don't want to say that we broke it first here because I did get it from another source, but I didn't see it spread around until after we put it out there. So I like to pretend me and Mark broke that. We didn't, but I can pretend. I think that match would be fantastic. I think those two could really work something great together. I do think Brock really tends to work really well with a small, fast guy. But I think Gunther is able to put together great programs. So I do think that's really going to be pretty darn good. I think that giving an opportunity for Gunther to showcase himself in that way will be really good for Gunther. Who else do we have? Ric Flair said that he's heartbroken that Vince isn't in charge of WWE anymore. I bet Flair is heartbroken about that. But Flair's hoping to be on the 30th anniversary of Raw. There are rumors that Vince has stated through Wall Street Journal reporting that Vince plans to be back in WWE. I don't know that I really see that happening, to be honest. I think that's a novel idea, and I think Vince probably hopes that maybe in a board position of some sort, but I can't imagine anyone wants him back in charge of creative. The product has evolved leaps and bounds in his absence, and I don't think there's anyone who's going to argue any differently than that. I think everything's much, much better, and that's not just a placebo effect because we know he's not there. It's clearly a better product, and it's more coherent. So I do think that's probably not a realistic thing. But that's my Raw recap. That's touched on some of those rumors out there. I do hope we see Gunther and Brock at Mania. I think that would be a good showcase. Gunther on that big stage. I think Rock at Rumble is probably gonna happen. And I think that I'm interested to see what we do with Bobby Lashley now, because I don't know if he's a heel or a baby face at this point, and I kind of hope to find out. But that's it, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in to Don't Say the F Word. Please check us out on social media at Don't Say the F Word Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We are the Don't Say the F Word Podcast on YouTube, and you can check the podcast out on YouTube. We are on Spotify and Google Podcasts. Please, guys, like, share, subscribe. Tell your friends about us. We do appreciate it. Take care, everybody.